Mary Jane? Is it Jane or is it Jack? Is it Jackie Chan? Or is it the new movie of Jackie Brown? Jackie, Jack off. You know all Jacks come in 6 parts. Why? Because when you look in the deck, the Jack of Spades is looking one way, the Jack of Hearts is looking the other way, and they only have one eye. What do we do with the diamond and the club? How do we divide the women from the men? I say that we're all jacking anyways. Another thing is, I wanted to go, I want to go with you to the petting zoo. How would you like to go to the petting zoo? Lions and tigers and bears? Oh yeah. Are there any dogs? Why? You want me to bring along the bone? I was looking more like I'd rather be with the cats. And she says to me, you like to be with the pussy. So I figured in North America, there's more cats in the household of a man than there is dogs. But that's a lie, because man always carries the bone. And therefore, in all the households in America, you know there's pussy when the woman lives there. So there's more pussy if it's a female living in the apartment, and it's more dogs, okay, if a man lives in the apartment. Now, there's one of each. You got the dog, you got the bone, you got the cat, you got the pussy. She's there, you're at the petting zoo, Raphael 7286 in the constellation of Pegasus. Do I have anything else to say before I let this run along? It's like Come Along Cassidy, right? Is that what it was? But we won't be humming along like Dynamo Hum. And I don't want to hear any ex-jokes. Well, it's not my ex-wife. That's what they keep talking about, is old pussy. Okay? But I'll tell you one thing. I won't get caught in prison while I'm having my period. Isn't that what happens? The man's period comes out the back door. Let me tell you one thing. When it's a crack, you've gone bowling. You got a crack. And they call it reserve in French. And the woman's got a crack, and inside she's got the reserve. The man goes bowling, he gets a strike. A strike because when you come from behind and you put him up the wrong way, you've stricken him. In French, it's called Abba, Father Reserve. Father's reserve is in the tanks below. Have you ever seen what 7 looks like? Flip 2 7s together, and you have an hourglass that looks like an 8 with no escape from Alcatraz. And in between the crossroads match, you put a pin. Once you put a pin, all you can do is this and this to the X. But you can never close the X. Do you know why? On the top is one of these. And when this part of the X comes to, when this part of the X, like a scissors comes to this part, the legs on here and the legs on this one over here, they meet and they stop and they create the spade on the top and the spade on the bottom, which also looks like a heart. Are you following me? I'm very upset, not because you might not be following me, but because maybe you see, as long as you're trying to understand, now you can ask the question of something that you missed, or rewind it and ask me. This is only 3 minutes long right now. I didn't say inches. Stop. You know what happens with a long video? I mean, usually YouTube used to give me 15 minutes because they knew I'd never reach the 15 part. And the minimum, YouTube says, it's anything you want. But it ain't much of a story unless it's 2 minutes. Do you know why? Because that's what everybody says. Can you give me a minute? Can you give me 2 minutes? I'll give you 2 minutes. That's the expression. 1 minute for you and 1 minute from me. You've got 2 minutes. Down to the petting zoo where the dogs hang out. Certainly there's got to be a bone. Well, that's okay, honey. I'm going to see the cats, the circle of life, because I'm quite sure there's some pussy up there. And I like the roar of the lions, tigers, and bears. See you later. Hello, alligator. And alligators, okay? You want to start talking about alligators? Too much on the overbite. Well, let it be the way it is. Let it be. Did you know you got 2 tanks over here? You get pregnant? Well, I got 2 tanks also. But your tanks are bigger. I call them the B tanks. When you got the baby, it's a D tank. It's an angel. You got a baby, you got the B, and D, 2, 2, and 4. 2, 4, and 2. Bringing something into the world. 4 times 2, 4 plus 2. You're bringing her into the Saturn on Earth. She becomes the cat, 24. 42 is the angel of time, 5 and 9. 5 equals 42, 9 equals 42. B for the breasts. D for the Belly, for the deep part of the child that's inside, and it's an angel. B-A-D, you're bad. And if it's a crack, you got a reserve. And everything knows with a reserve, which is a spare in bowling, you only get to count your next shot. But with a strike, you get 2 more shots. You get 2 more shots. You can get 30, and that's creation. Right on. I've got a turkey. Raphael, 70. Oh, in bowling, 3 strikes in a row is a turkey. They call it a daned. You know what the priest would say? Ordained. He says, I can't enter into that room. You know, once the balls start rolling, I stop thinking. I can no longer pray to God. Because he's forgot. Because that's what happens. I pray to God, but he's forgot. Well, get off of the bone, dear. Dear, get off of the bone. Well, I called dear because that's the name of my cat. I call her dear because that's the name of my cat. Okay, dear? You know what I'm saying? Or what if it was dear was the name of my dog? Or how about for every bone I gave my dog, I'd call it the dear bone? Or why don't we just call it Dick? Give it a real name so no one would ever know you're talking about the bone. Just call the bone Dick. How you doing, Dick? Raphael 70-286 in the constellation of Pegasus. Thank you for your time we shared together.